Good morning, students. So last class we was discussing about your respiration. We had already discussed about respiration and I have already told about your nutrition. So that two topics will be there for your test as I told you. So see what all the questions which has been there. Now we are going to discuss about your transportation. So which is not there for your FA1. I am not going to include this transportation for your FA1. Is it clear? I'm repeating so many times. Only respiration and nutrition you have for your FA1, and chemistry you will have chemical reactions and equations complete. Okay. Now, transportation. So, whatever the next topic which we are going to discuss is transportation. So, in transportation, see, we have already discussed about nutrition. There are different types of nutrition like autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And that nutrition, the food is getting digested. After the food is getting digested, you can see that the glucose molecules will break down due to respiration process, which we have discussed last class. Now, the nutrition which has been broken down is being circulated to all the parts of your body, right? So, how it has been taken place, it is because of your transportation. So, this transportation, which is the main part where it includes in your transportation, is nothing but called as your heart. It's a pumping machine. It's a pumping organ, which is completely made up of your cardiac muscle, your heart, a pumping machine. How you have motors where the water is received from your pump and it has been circulated to a whole building, like that here also, which receives the blood and it has been transferred to all the parts of your body, can be brought about by your heart. So it is called as pumping machine, which has been taken place. So where is your heart located? Heart is located between your two lungs, where it is protected by your rib cage towards your left hand side. So what is the size of your heart? It is your left hand fist. What is the size of your fist? That much only. It's like, ma'am, the person who is fat will be very huge, and for the person who is very lean will have only little. No, whatever the size of their fist will be the size of their heart. Where it is located in between your lungs, they're twisted towards your left hand side, and it is protected by your rib cage. Now, how does this circulation? That means whatever we have. Excuse me, whatever the substances which is getting broken down, and that substances which is required will be sent and which is not required will be thrown out of your body. So the same way here the transportation also takes place through your oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. What is oxygenated and what is deoxygenated blood is? I told you, I think I have told you this in your last class. Oxygenated blood are the blood which is rich in oxygen, and deoxygenated blood which is rich in carbon dioxide. So what happens? The oxygenated blood which is highly rich in oxygen should be transferred, means that RBC which carries your RBCs will carry your oxygenated blood to and transfer to all the parts of your body. So that has been brought about by oxygenation. Deoxygenated, we don't require carbon dioxide in our body, so that should be thrown out of your body. So how the circulation has been taken place in the sense, we have to know heart is completely made up of your cardiac muscle. How to draw it? A Kannada alphabet A, how will you write? The same way. A C, here too. Then to a boundary, take one more boundary where it will get divided heart into two chambers, two equal parts. How many chambers do heart is having? It has having 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. How many chambers? 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Then here you give a connection. So see your textbook, it is neat only. Just see, entry and exit should be there. So I've just represented only a little bit of pipes, that's all. Only entry and exit of that vessels. How many pipes you require, don't join so many pipes and all. How much it has been there in the textbook, draw only like that. And see the labeling, how exactly it goes. This is nothing but called as your pulmonary artery. And this is nothing but called as your pulmonary vein. And this is nothing but called as left atrium. So always in your any anatomy class, left, right hand side, what I'm writing will be your left, and right side, left side, what you have is considered to be your right hand part. So left atrium, and the down part is nothing but called as left ventricle. Next, you have aorta. Then the pipe which has been opened here is nothing but called as vena cava. And here, right atrium. So as I told you, how many chambers heart has? 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Left atrium, left ventricle, auricle, atrium, both are same. Next, right ventricle. So 4 chambers. The heart is getting divided. This is also nothing but called as vena cava, that is inferior vena cava, that is superior vena cava, which receives the blood from the upper body part. This receives the blood from lower body part. And this heart which is getting divided into 2 equal valves is nothing but called as septum. Okay, so now what happens? This is what is your diagram, how exactly the circulation takes place. Now, in your respiration, whatever the substance has been broken down has to be utilized by each and every cell of your body. Now, how it is going to be transferred in the sense because of your transport mechanism. How does this transport mechanism has been taken place? As I told you, it has been divided into oxygenated and deoxygenated. Deoxygenated is not required, but oxygenated is required. But both are circulated in our heart. Both oxygenated as well as deoxygenated will be circulated. And how it is being transported? Let us see. The blood which is being received from your lungs means the deoxygenated blood. The deoxygenated blood enters inside your lungs. There the purification takes place through an air bag called alveoli. Then that oxygenated rich blood enters inside your pulmonary vein. So where is this your deoxygenated blood entering inside us? Through your pulmonary veins. See, through your pulmonary veins. Then the blood is flowing through your atrium. As the blood is flowing through your atrium, you can see it flows into your ventricle region. Here you have a valve which has been present. And this valve is nothing but called as tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. What exactly happens here is you can see the blood which is being received from your pulmonary vein. Oxygenated blood is entering inside through your pulmonary vein and reaches your left atrium and then reaches your left ventricle. See the valve which has been tricuspid valve, what I told you, which will be present just like this. Once if the blood is flowing, this ventricle region, that means the atrium region what has been present, will open where the blood has to enter inside your ventricle region. See, this is just a valve which has been present. Once if you see that the blood is flowing in the sense, this whatever the ventricle, that means in your atrium region, from atrium region to ventricle region, the blood has to flow. So at that point of time, the valve remains open. That is called as atrial systole. That is called as atrial systole. Then after the blood is flowed back, as soon as the blood is from the atrium region, the blood is flowed into your ventricle region, you can see the valve will remain closed. So as it remain open, it is called as atrial systole. Now after the flow of blood, once the blood is flowed inside your ventricle region, once this ventricle region, if it contracts, once the ventricle region gets contracts, at that point of time, the blood should not flow back again to the atrium region. So you have this tricuspid valve. Is it clear? Means the blood which has been flowing inside from your atrium region to ventricle region, if it is flowing, the valve will remain open. So that is called atrial systole. Once after the ventricle region, once the blood is flowed into your ventricle region, once the ventricle region contracts, at that point of time, the valves will remain closed, and that is called as ventricular systole. Now, as the ventricle region contracts, now the blood is pumped to your aorta, pumped into aorta, and this blood is circulated to all the parts of your body. Now the blood is received. Only the half part of your heart, I told you, blood is received. Oxygenated blood is received from your vein, pulmonary vein, reaches your left atrium, reaches your left ventricle. And what happens in your ventricle region? From your atrium, ventricle region, the blood is flowing in the sense it remains open. Once after the flood is completely fallen inside your ventricle region, at that point of time, the ventricle, that means the cascade will remain closed where the blood should not flow back again. As the ventricle region, this valve remains closed in the sense, again the blood will be pumped to your aorta and circulated to all the parts of your body. So once it is opened, it is called as atrial systole. Once the valve remains closed, is called as ventricular systole, which all leads only for 0.5 seconds. That means 0.15 seconds, 0.35 seconds. Only for that seconds it leads how fast they work. Now what happens in the sense? Next, the deoxygenated blood. Now, where is this deoxygenated blood? See, the oxygenated blood, which is highly rich in oxygen, is circulated to all the parts of your body. Ma'am, oxygenated only is present in your body. Now, where will this deoxygenated blood be? See, we are not having only one type of process has been taken place in our body. They are like respiration, nutrition, all digestion process. If it has been taken place at that point of time, the oxygenated blood will get converted into your deoxygenated, means rich of carbon dioxide. So how that deoxygenated blood will be received by your vena cavas? This deoxygenated blood will be received by your vena cavas from your upper body part. That is your superior vena cava. From your lower body part, it is your inferior vena cava. So this inferior and superior vena cava will receive your deoxygenated blood. Deoxy, I'll write, that's it. Deoxygenated blood is received by your vena cava. Then it has been fallen into your right atrium. And once it is fallen, here also you have bicuspid valve which has been present. Bicuspid valve. So here also the blood flow has been taken place to your right ventricle region. Once the blood is pumped to your pulmonary artery and reaches your lungs again. Again it reaches your lungs. Then there again what happens? The deoxygenated blood enters inside your lungs, gets purified and gets converted into oxygenated rich. Then that oxygenated rich enters inside your pulmonary vein, reaches your left atrium, reaches your left ventricle. Then again it has been pumped to and it reaches your aorta, and aorta pumps the blood to all the parts of your body. Right? Then later what happens? The oxygenated rich blood will get converted into deoxygenated by the different types of process which has been undertaken in your body. That point of time, this deoxygenated blood again enters inside your heart through your vena cavas. From your upper vena cava and lower vena cava, from your superior and inferior vena cava, the blood is pumped inside your right atrium and falls inside your right ventricle. Once the ventricle region gets contracted, the blood is pumped to your pulmonary artery. Again, this pulmonary artery is being connected to your lungs. As I told you, how the circulation is being taken place. The flow of blood which has been taken place is nothing but called as double circulation. Double, the name itself will tell you how the process has been taken place. D-O-U-B-L-E, double circulation. Double is nothing but called as two. Circulation means it is going twice. That means blood goes twice inside the heart. The blood is both oxygenated as well as deoxygenated. Once the oxygenated, the other 5 minutes deoxygenated. Not like that. Together, both oxygenated as well as deoxygenated blood is circulated in our body. So the blood goes twice inside the heart in a single cycle. In one single cycle only, both oxygenated as well as deoxygenated blood is circulated. So that is called as double circulation. Blood goes twice inside the heart in a single cycle is called as double circulation. Why is this double circulation? Means in mammals and birds. In mammals and birds are four-chambered heart. So mammals and birds will have four-chambered heart. So where exactly the double circulation will be taken place? Why the necessity of double circulation should be taken place? In the sense, for the separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, for the separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, as well as to maintain the constant body temperature. To maintain constant body temperature, double circulation is necessary. And for efficient circulation, there they are not supposed to fight like I don't have space, so both will get combined. Not like that. So efficient circulation can be maintained by four-chambered heart. So double circulation is necessary to maintain constant body temperature and for efficient blood circulation. Is it clear, children? So this double circulation has been taken place in mammals and birds to maintain the constant body temperature. I'm repeating, it is received through your pulmonary vein, reaches your left atrium, reaches your left ventricle and pumped. Once the contraction of this ventricle region takes, see, what is that lub dub? So the first sound what has been heard is lub and then you have dub. So first sound is lub in the sense you can see the blood which has been flowing inside that region. So that is considered to be as lub. Once the blood is pumped, means when the ventricle region contracts, the blood is pumped inside, so that is considered to be as dub. So lub dub sound is produced like that only through your heart. So how will you measure this heartbeat? Is your stethoscope, right? So how the blood pressure can be measured is through your sphygmomanometer. Blood pressure can be measured by sphygmomanometer. And that means the BP checking, what exactly, if you go for hospitals, they don't know, that is called a sphygmomanometer. Stethoscope to measure your heartbeat, right? So this is what the circulation mechanism which has been taken place. Now, what are the different types of blood vessels which has been present? What are the different types of blood vessels? So the different types of blood vessels are arteries, then you have veins, and you have capillaries. You know, pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, I told you, right? Excuse me. The same way here, blood vessels, arteries and veins and capillaries you have. So what is, these are the different types of blood vessels. So what is the function of this and where they are present in the sense? We know pulmonary artery veins which has been present and that is what has been connected to whole body. Now arteries. Arteries are thick and elastic walls. They are completely thick. See 5-letter words which has been there. So it is thick and elastic. And they are thin, 4-letter words. So thin and non-elastic. So arteries are thick and elastic in nature. Veins are thin and non-elastic in nature. So what happens about your arteries is arteries carries the oxygenated blood. Arteries carries oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood. Arteries carry oxygenated blood, veins carry deoxygenated blood, and arteries as well as. You can see what is the work of your pulmonary arteries is, it is taking the blood away from your heart. Pulmonary artery, what it is doing, pulmonary artery, it is taking the blood away from the heart to the various parts of the organ. Correct? To your lungs only you can take. It is taking the blood away from the heart. What is the work of your veins is, receiving the blood, means collecting the blood from different organs and it is been back into the heart, means it is flowing the blood back into the heart, can be brought about by your veins, means they take away the blood out of the heart away from the heart is by your arteries into the heart. Taking that oxygenated blood into the heart can be brought about by your veins. So that is what the difference you people can write. And capillaries is only one wall will be thick, the other walls and all will be very thin. Only one wall is very thick, and it supports both arteries and veins for the circulation. So that is a function of your capillaries, which helps in connection between your arteries and veins. Here, what is the difference between arteries and veins also they can ask you. So arteries, I'm telling you, it is thick and elastic. Veins are thin and non-elastic. The arteries carries oxygenated blood. Veins carry deoxygenated blood. Arteries take the blood away from the heart to various organs. That means to your lungs. And what is that? Your veins the blood is pumped back into the heart from the various organs. From various organs, it collects and it flows into your heart. That has been brought about by your veins. So capillaries are only one wall thick, which is the connection between your arteries and veins. Then we have blood components. And we have blood components. So the blood components are RBCs, WBCs, platelets, and we have lymph. So RBCs, which are rich in hemoglobin. RBCs, pigment present is hemoglobin, which are helpful for what purpose? To supply oxygenated blood to all the parts of your body, which carries oxygenated blood to all the parts of your body by your hemoglobin. So once this deficiency of hemoglobin leads to a disease called anemia. Hemoglobin, if your blood is completely less in your body, we will get different varieties of diseases. So especially on that anemia, we have already, that means in your previous classes and all, you would have discussed. Okay, so RBCs, which carries a that is pigment called hemoglobin, which makes the blood to look red in color. It is because of your RBCs, which carries oxygenated blood to all the parts of your body. WBCs, white blood cells, which carries leukocytes. And here, what about WBCs is, which is going to fight against diseases. Means it increases your immunity level. Once it is less, it decreases your immunity level. So this WBCs will work on what purpose? Which fights against diseases. If any sort of disease, in the sense, if WBCs count is less in your body, you'll get easily affected by that disease. But if that WBCs count is very less, in the sense, if you get any sort of disease also, it will be recovered soon. You will not get disease at all, I cannot tell, but you can be recovered very soon. So that is because of your WBCs, which is going to fight against diseases. Platelets. Platelets, we know, it is also a fluid matrix which has been present. So that platelets, which is going to help in clotting of blood. So clotting of blood, in the sense, you can see if you have got any wound, in the sense, that point of time, for some, it won't stop immediately. For few, it will be like completely the blood flow will be taken place. For few, it will be stopped immediately. Stopped immediately, in the sense, the clotting of blood can be prevented. That is because of platelets. So they have nice platelet counts in their body, so that can help them in clotting of blood. But others, few bodies where if the platelet count is less, in the sense, that will not help them to clotting of blood. The flow of the blood will be very heavy. And lymph is also a colorless fluid which has been present, a matrix, a plasma which has been present, colorless fluid which is going to fight against foreign bodies. Fight against foreign bodies, in the sense, that doesn't mean it is going to fight against foreigns. It is going to fight against the component what is not required to that cell. See, out of the cell, whatever it has been there, that is called as foreign bodies. So inside what has been there, that is required to a cell. What has been present outside, if it is not required, in the sense, that cannot allow the cell to take that. So that is because of your lymph, okay, which is going to fight against foreign bodies. So this is how the circulation, means the blood vessels which has been taken place, and the blood components. As I told you, how the BP measuring is also being taken place. As I told you, BP, blood pressure, can be maintained by your measured by your sphygmomanometer. What is blood pressure? The arteries, once the pressure of the blood increases, once the pressure of the blood increases in your arteries region, Once the pressure of the blood increases in your artery region, nothing but called as BP, blood pressure. The pressure increases in your blood, the pressure increases in your arteries region, and that is nothing but called as blood pressure. So what is high BP in the sense? You can see once the blood pressure increases, the arteries inner walls, already they are thick in nature. So what happens once the pressure is high, the inner walls of that will rupture. Rupture in the sense they break down. As soon as, excuse me, sorry children. So what happens? Internal bleeding, it leads to, as the walls of that arteries breaks, the internal bleeding takes place. As it ruptures, the internal bleeding starts. Once the internal bleeding starts, in the sense, the person has to die. So that is what is your high tension. High BP, low BP, high BP, then high BP, low BP is very dangerous. The person has to go for coma stage. And what is the range of your BPS? From 120 to 80. So you can see what happened, 120 to 80 in your sphygmomanometer, how the measurement has been taken place. 120 above. Above 120, what happens in the sense, you can see once the contraction has been taken place in the sense, the blood flow will not be there. It will be stopped completely. The blood flow will not be there. It will be completely stopped. In the arteries region, the blood flow, what is that? Diagram is given in your textbook. You just check out. Once you can see as the machine sphygmomanometer has been tightened, once the pressure they are giving you, once they release that pressure, you can see in that arteries region, they'll keep the stethoscope here. You cannot, means if it is high BP, 120 above in the sense, it is your high BP. At that point of time, there'll be no any sound which has been audible in your stethoscope. And that means it is stopped completely. If it is 120 below, 120 below in the sense, it is normal, not a problem. The flow will be normal. It is normal. Flow will be normal and they can hear the sound and stethoscope, normal state. And if it is 80 below 80, what happens in the sense? Continuous low BP, continuous flow of blood will be there in your arteries region. That means no sound will be heard in your stethoscope. Completely it is stopped. That means you are about to die only, I can tell you. So it is very dangerous. Than your high BP, low BP is very dangerous. Ma'am, then high BP patients, even that is also is dangerous, but they can control it. But low BP, there is no still medicines to control it. Their stress and strain only will increase. So this is what we have to discuss under your transport mechanism. That means in your circulatory system. Okay. So double circulation, as I told you, and how that pumping which has been taken place, as I told you. So this is how the transport which has been brought about in your human beings, animals. Okay. Now, that means in your aves, amphibians, reptiles, if you take, the circulation is not like this, children, because they are all 2-chambered and 3-chambered heart. Only mammals and birds will be having 4-chambered heart. So, our circulation is like this. If we consider about aves, amphibians, reptiles, fishes and all, no, not this type of circulation will be taken place, right? Now, how the transport system taken place, how the transportation in plants. So we are discussing the both, right? Both respiration in plants and animals and your digestion in plants and animals. Now we are going to discuss about the transportation in plants. So the transportation in plants is brought about by a 2-vascular bundle called xylem as well as phloem. So in xylem, what exactly happens? We have already studied in tissues chapter in detail last year. Xylem, which is going to conduct water and mineral conducting tissue. They are water and mineral conducting tissue. And your phloem is considered to be as your food conducting tissue, a vascular tissue which has been present. Ma'am, even they do have veins or your arteries which has been to circulate all the parts of your body? No. So in your plants, they have a vascular conducting tissue called as your xylem and phloem, which is going to transport the food material or the water material or the mineral component, all the parts of the body through your xylem and phloem. Xylem, water and mineral, phloem, food conducting tissue. Xylem, water, mineral, phloem, food, flow, food. So that you keep it and the thing you will only know. So how exactly it has been taken place? So how this water and mineral conduction has been taken place in the sense, you can see this is your plant, roots, so you can see here it starts branching out. Okay. Now what happens? The xylem means if it is a bark, old xylems in the sense, How exactly the transportation of water and minerals has been taken place? We know we have many conducting means components which has been present in your xylem. Xylem parenchyma and your sieve tubes, companion cells, tracheids. This all we have discussed, right? So there only by with the presence of that xylem conducting tissue only, the water component means there are ions component which has been present in your soil. That means we can say sodium, potassium, magnesium components, all these ions what has been present in the soil, that is called as your mineral. So this minerals has been absorbed by the roots, and what is required water component also is being received by your roots, and they start moving towards upward direction, only in the upward direction. Occasionally sideways direction. Occasionally means sometimes it takes place towards the sides. So all the time upward direction, because the water and mineral has been present in the root part. So whatever the required quantity of this will be transferred through your upward direction, only upward. Occasionally sideways direction it takes place. Now what happens with the presence of phloem? Now this, with the presence of this ions and water component, it is getting, the plant is preparing their its own food, which we have already discussed in your autotrophic mode of nutrition. Am I right? So there what exactly happens, that glucose molecule it get converted. Now that glucose molecule, that is your food molecules, with that phloem what has been present in your plant body, now this food material has to get circulated to what? All the parts of your plant body. So it takes place both upward and downward direction through your phloem conducting tissue. So both upward and downward, because it has to be circulated to all the parts of your body. Food material has to be circulated to all the parts of your plant body, right? So both upward and lower downward body part it has been taken place. So this is being brought about by your phloem. Is it clear? Whatever ions which has been present in the soils will be received through your roots, and then the water molecule has been and moves towards upward direction through your upward direction, occasionally sideways direction. As soon as they receive, in autotrophic mode of nutrition, with the presence of photosynthesis, with the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, plant will prepare their food. That glucose molecules will start being circulated to all the plant's body through a conducting tissue called phloem, which is going to conduct the food material to all the parts of your body. So both upward as well as downward directions. So why we are not discussing about your xylems, phloems, all that means xylem conducting tissues, like you have xylem parenchyma, trachea, sieve tubes, companion cells, which you have already discussed in your tissues chapter. So here you people have to take place is only xylem and phloem. Xylem is for water and mineral conducting tissue, phloem is for food conducting. Xylem, how the transport of food material, whatever the ions or the water component present in the soil will be received, and the movement takes place only in upward direction, occasionally sideways direction. Phloem, after the conversion, after receiving of that water molecule and ions molecule, the food material is being transported to all the parts of body through upward as well as the downward movement. Now, later what happens, that the food material which is being stored in the form of ATP molecule, nothing but called as here adenosine triphosphate. Once the pressure increases, or if the plant body requires any of the components, food material components, so this ATP molecule will transfer, means which is being stored in your mitochondria, will convert this food material, means plant cell will have your what is that, food vacuoles is very bigger in size, and animal cell will be smaller. Why? Because we are depending on other organism, we are not storing our food material for longer period of time. But here vacuoles is very larger in size in your plant cell, but in animal cell I can't tell it is completely absent, but it is smaller in size. That's all. Okay, so this food material will be stored in the form of ATP molecules. Whenever the plant is not having enough quantity of glucose components, so this ATP molecule will transfer the food material, and it has been circulated to all the parts of the plant body. So that is brought about by your xylem and phloem itself. So this is how the transportation takes place in both plants as well as in your animals. So first what we have discussed was your animals. Now what we discussed was your transportation in your plants. Okay. So go through what exactly it has been there, children. I didn't repeat it 2 to 3 times. Why? Because already the concepts are very delay. We are whatever the portions yet now we would have completed at least 3 chapters, but still now we have not completed. If you want to repeat it, please pause the video, go back and watch the videos again and again. If not, go through your textbooks. Once you get your textbooks, please go through it, or the class of notes is given to you, go through it. Still, if you have any doubts, you get your class of correction. So ask whatever the doubts you have and clarify it. Okay, right, children? So this much is today's topic. In next class, we will continue with your excretion process. Thank you, children.